This podcast is powered by the pros at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Dudley, good afternoon. You got your eyes on any Olympics? There's lots going on right now. I got rugby, bronze medal rugby match while I'm hosting the show here today. It's kind of fun. You watching?
Yeah, I've got baseball and the Olympics on, and just trying to keep up with everything.
Baseball, not in the Olympics. I guess it will be the next time around. Hey, what'd you think of your Cardinals trade? They say they got Eric Fetty, Tommy Pham returning to St. Louis.
I like it. I'll see if I love it later on when they see what else they do. They need to get some bullpen help still, but obviously Tommy Pham is an energy guy. He's beloved in St. Louis. He's made it clear he wanted to come back. He went down to Jupiter, Florida, try to get them to sign him before spring training, and now he's back. I think that'll add some energy, but I'm not sure we can catch Milwaukee.
Well, it's not about catching Milwaukee. It's about getting into the tournament. That's what the regular season's about now. I don't even really think it's about setting yourself up for a bye or winning a division championship. It's just about getting in the tournament, being one of the 7 that's in, and you go from there. That's the biggest out of all the changes in baseball, and I guess I should say the timer and some of the other rules, make it change a lot more, but it's just a different mindset of what you got to do in order to win a World Series. You don't have to win a division. You don't have to overtake the Braves.
Yeah, that's true. One of our last World Series was through the wild card. So we'll see. You know how much I love baseball, and I'm thrilled by today's trade deadline. Just seeing what happens with other teams as well as Cardinals. So it's been a fun week as the summer is about to come to a close.
Yeah, it's coming. It really does kind of come to a close once the head coach of the college football team that's nearby starts talking, and that happens today. So I guess summer ends before August even starts. What do you think you hear from Sam Pittman today? Because you're going to hear from a lot. You're going to hear a lot of things you usually hear. What do you hope you hear today?
Well, I think it's going to be a continuation of what he had to say down at SEC Media Days. He'll be as optimistic as he can. I think as we saw down at the meetings, he's realistic on where his situation is. The one thing I would say is I don't expect a great year, but in this day and age, when you have so many people coming in via the transfer portal, whether it be at this place or another place, you could have some surprises. And I'm sure that there's a segment of the population that thinks Arkansas can't do anything wrong, a segment of the population that thinks they can't do anything right, and probably a lot of people, which I would put myself in the camp, is that just kind of having a wait-and-see attitude, some pessimism going into it. But I think that second game with Oklahoma State at 11 a.m. Is just going to be huge in terms of both the narrative for both the head coach, the fans' joy or anger or disappointment, and then I think we'll know something pretty quick about how good this football team is.
Dudley, last year I don't think it was effort. I think it was lack of talent. Because when it comes down to it, it's one of two things. It's either lack of effort or lack of talent. And last year I just don't think we were talented enough. Is this football team more talented than last year's football team?
I think they are better rounded. I do think there's more talent. I think obviously I'll use half the word I want to use. Cluster was what last year was in terms of a lot of things with the offensive coordinator, the rift between the players involving NIL and the quarterback and offensive lineman and all that. I just think that was not a good run at all. And I do think when you lose, assistant head coach, associate head coach, whatever they call the guy that's second in charge these days, that really hurt Coach Pittman since Barry Odom left. I think that he's got, a deal with Coach Petrino now where he can bounce things off of him. And I think that's going to work well, for him. But as I was saying, last year was just a cluster from day one.
That's why it's like a lot of folks still go by what they saw last year. And I think on defensively, you can go a little bit on what you saw last year because there's a lot more returning players. On the offensive side, I mean, you're going to have a different leading running back. You'll have the same leading wide receiver, but you got a deeper group, a whole new offensive line, the way that they're lining up, experience at positions where you didn't have experience before. The quarterback's different. The coordinator's different. So I don't think you can point to anything that happened offensively with this team last year and say, well, you'll be in the same situation. I expect a much more improved offense. It's part of that also goes against how much of the defense has improved that they're facing.
Yeah, and being the old guy that played 40 years ago under Bill Keaty, when we were very balanced, we'd throw the ball once to the left, once to the right, and once in the middle, and run it 60 times with Billy Warren. I think that I'm still like my friend Clay Henry in that you win games in trenches. They did not play well in trenches at all with the offensive line last year. I'm, thinking that they feel better about the offensive line, and if you can get 3 yards when you have to, that's going to be a big deal for them in some of these games. And if you're looking for a positive, when they won 9 games, they were winning the 1-score games. When they finished 4-8 last year, they lost the 1-score games. Let's see how they do when they get down there in the red zone. Can you score, or do you have to settle for a field goal?
Is there a player top of mind, a newcomer that you're excited to see? I know the quarterback is kind of everybody wants to see the quarterback, but is there a running back? Is there a defensive guy that's a newcomer we got in this portal that you're excited to see?
Yeah, I think that running back room is really deep, and I think that in what I just said, Braylon Russell, who's 6'2", 251, 252, it's going to be hard to stop him down there on the guideline, and I think he gives them a punch down there that maybe they haven't had in a couple of years. So I'm looking forward to that. But if I can name Luke Hogs as a new guy, even though he didn't play, a ton of games last year, I just think he's a phenomenal football player. Probably a guy you'd like to have back in the day, Matt, that, gets open and does something with the ball once he gets it.
He's got that Travis Kelce in him, Dudley. I think he's a guy, and I don't know that he's going to be a Hall of Famer. So let me slow down, but I do think he's a guy on his projection. He's a first or second round pick. I mean, he's going to be a top 100 pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah, I've been watching him since the 10th grade when his team over there was so good. He is a phenomenal player. He gets the game. A lot of times there's a lot of talent. And the IQ, the football IQ may not be as big as you wanted, but I think he's got both. And, as a connoisseur of tight ends over the course of my life, there is something to be said for a guy that can run routes, get into a spot, know where he's supposed to be, and the quarterback's able to throw him the ball.
Tell me if Danico Slaughter is going to be somebody that makes an immediate impact. He's transferring in from Tennessee. Started at corner for them in a few games last year. 7 games he started as a junior in 2022. He's experienced. He's got some size for his position, and I expect that Slaughter comes in making an impact immediately. And I also like the secondary for this defense.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I looked at some weight and heights today, and that looks like an SEC secondary, and obviously they made some plays last year. I actually was on Tony Basillo's show in Knoxville this morning, and he asked me about Danico Slaughter. They loved him over there. They hated to see him go. They think he's going to be a star up here. Wish they still had him back. That tells you a lot. When somebody transfers and they wish that he was still there, then that's a decision he made, not they made. And they feel those guys over there this morning were just very high on him. And when you add him into the guys that you had last year, I think the secondary is going to be vastly improved, and they should be, because I think you've got more guys up front now that can help them out. Now, the linebacker core went away. We're going to have to see how they play, with these new guys. But, I feel like the defense has the right coaches, has the right players now. Again, you're playing in a league that you've got a big old mountain to climb, and you're starting down at the bottom. Maybe they can drop a Kanye West song on them later.
Oh, there we go. So Ben Souders is going to speak today. Is there anything that if you had a question for him or something you want to hear him say? He's the strength and conditioning coach, and I guess it'd be probably the only time he speaks. But what are you looking forward to hear him talk about?
Well, I looked over the roster and the weights that they they have listed. I know that you can go into it a little bit more in depth in terms of how they lifted, what they lifted. I did not think that Arkansas was in the shape that it needed to be at the tail end of ball games last year. I think that's something that they really stressed this year. I look over the heights and weights, and I like what I see in that regard. But are they in better shape? And if they are, how did they get there doing things differently than they have in the past?
Well, it'd be nice if the offense can hold on to the ball for 3 minutes and get a couple first downs. I think that'll help our defense as well, as far as being in shape. But you're right on, Dudley. They I think of that BYU game. The fourth quarter we couldn't move the ball. There's no reason we should have lost that game.
Yeah, and that was one you felt good early on. What's going to be interesting, and Matt, being a former quarterback, I'm interested to see. They certainly talk a good game about Taylor Green, and KJ Jefferson did a lot of good stuff here, but that whole thing, kind of didn't work out well last year, and I'm anxious to see. Even though I think KJ was a great leader during his time here, I'm anxious to see a quarterback that the team is fully behind, how that plays into things.
He seems, from what I've seen, Taylon's a little bit quicker on everything, and that's what Petrino's going to try to do, where KJ, I don't want to say he was lethargic, but everything kind of slowed down a little bit when he got the ball, and he would still make plays, and he could do things like that. But I think your tempo and your pace, make a decision and let's go. Let's fire it. I think those are some things you'll see that'll be different about this offense.
Yeah, some of my favorite quarterbacks around here have been 6'6" and fast. So
I'm all in. Let's go.
Hey, Dudley. I saw there's a couple of I guess I can't say like player movement involving Arkansas baseball. The shortstop Maximus Martin, Georgia State. He's not coming here anymore. He's going to K-State.
Right.
Adam Hatchman, who was supposed to be big-time left-handed pitcher, but was injured when he came in, never got on the mound. This one kind of came out of right field, where the bullpen is located for me. When I saw it yesterday, I didn't even know he was in the portal. He's transferring to Kentucky. It's just there's too many already established pitchers on the team, I guess, in his mind. Maybe he'll break through there. But this is also an example of being as aggressive as they were in the portal. And they got some guys through the draft, too, that maybe they didn't expect.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got to be thrilled with how they worked itself out. But even with the NIL money and obviously these full scholarships are going to help next year as they go down the line. But telling you what, when it's just like a major league salary cap type thing here now. And you knew that everybody wasn't going to be here. Charles Davalin is another guy that they got from Milwaukee that's going to be at Kentucky now, because when Kendall Diggs, made it clear that he was coming back, you only have so many spots on the roster. You only have so much money. You only have so much playing time, and I don't blame those kids at all. It is interesting to me that a lot of the people that have transferred out, I keep writing, did not appear in any games this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey, Ty Wade, another one. That's right.
Yes, yeah.
Hey, Dudley, Phil had brought this up in the first segment, kind of how we started our show today. Did you see James McCann get popped in the nose and just keep on going? It was pretty badass. Is James McCann a guy that is he close to being a starting catcher somewhere?
Well, they would have to trade him, and I think from all indications last time I talked to him, he's very happy being Adley Rushman's backup there. He still gets plenty of playing time. They give Rushman some days off, and they also get him at first base. But yeah, that was phenomenal yesterday. When I first I was watching it live, and when it happened, I thought, oh my God! And then he pops back up, and then I loved it when he came to bat the next time. The crowd just reacted, in a fantastic way. And I know he didn't grow up here, but he was here, and we count him as an Arkansan, and that's toughness, and we like to see that.
Need to send that bloody jersey to the Hall of Fame.
There you go.
Honestly,
yeah.
It belongs.
How about the tissue up the nose? Don't give me all this new technology. Just tissue up the nose.
Put it next to Luis Gonzalez's gum that was on eBay.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.